Welcome back to the channel, folks. It's good to see you. I'm glad to have you. Pull up a chair. Let's talk about finding shapes that you're looking to find in a carving, right? How to come up with designs of your own. I want to talk about it briefly. I am by no means an expert on any of this. I am an enthusiastic amateur and I'm learning as I go, but I wanted to share what my thoughts are on that process, especially as I'm doing this gnome series, right? We're doing this series, Fellowship of the Gnome, and I'm carving really neat figures, and it's a really fun series. But recently I just did this wizard, and as I was trying to figure out the shape for him, I specifically want to talk about, because this is the 5th iteration of this wizard. I went through 4 failures before I got to this guy. And that's what I want to talk about, because at first I started with a 4-inch block, and immediately I realized that he would be short, because if this top portion here is going to be the hat, he was going to be far too short compared to the counterparts in the rest of the series, and it wouldn't work out. So I know I needed to make him out of a 5-inch block so he could be the same height as the rest of the figures in the series. So that was attempt number 1 down already. Then I went for attempt number 2, and I thought, you know what, with attempt number 2, I'm going to attempt to put a staff here in the front of the carving. And as I started doing that, I realized the difficulty level of that would have been a bit too high, and it wasn't going to work out for me. So I put that one down, chalk that up. That's attempt number 2 down. And so I started working on attempt number 3, and I started doing a gnome without a hat band, without a bill to his hat around the edge. And then I started doing that. I thought, that's just not going to work out. That's not the look I'm going for. I wanted to be more wizard-like and less gnome-like in the hat. And so that was attempt number 3 down. And so attempt number 4 came along, and I started doing attempt number 4, and guess what happened? The mustache looked terrible, and I got frustrated with it, and I carved the face off because I didn't like the way it looked. And that was attempt number 4. And attempt number 5 came along, and that was where I finished with this guy right here. That's the 5th attempt. If you're looking to find your own shapes in wood, looking to create your own kind of carvings, how many of you are getting past attempt number 1, or you give up on attempt number 1? How many of you just give up and stop on attempt number 2? Do you make it to attempt number 3? Do you even give attempt number 3 a chance? Do you ever give attempt number 4 a chance, or are you giving up before then? It's attempt number 5 that worked out for me with this guy. He worked out fantastic. I love him. He is one of my favorite carvings that I have done so far. And he's the 5th attempt. My point is, we give up too often sometimes, too early, too quickly, when we should put more time and more effort into trying things, pushing past that uncomfortable stage where we don't like what we're doing, we don't like how it's looking, and getting past that. Because at first, I didn't like the way he looked either. I thought he was another failed attempt, until I got to the point that I thought, you know what? No, he's turning out just fine. And he did turn out just fine. And he's a big hit, and I love the fact that he's a big hit. I'm glad so many people are enjoying him and carving him, and it's wonderful, and it's fun, and it's fantastic. But he wasn't a first attempt. He was number 5. And that's my point. That's what I want to make sure I point out to people. I am not perfect at this in any way, shape, or form. And a lot of other carvers that are out there that are doing fantastic carvings, these are not their first iterations either. They're coming up with ideas and they're trying things that aren't working. Then they try things that aren't working until they get to a point that it is working. And that's what they show folks. That's what they're pushing out there. Now, if you ask them about that, they'll tell you, of course, that's what's happening. Of course, that's what they're doing too. But it's easy to forget that when we're looking at other people's carvings online. We're looking at pictures of things that people do. We think, oh man, they got this natural skill. They got this natural talent. They're never having to fight. They're never having to push and strive. They don't have to go through 4 or 5 attempts to get to something that I can do. No, yes, we're doing the same thing. It's all the same thing. So if you're struggling with finding your own shapes in wood, understand that you're not alone. And that's all I got for you today. So listen, I know it's going to be a short one. I knew it was going to be a short one from the get-go. I really appreciate your time. I hope you enjoyed this kind of content. If you like the video, if you enjoyed this kind of content, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and outside of that, click one of the videos popping up on the screen here. I'll see you next time. Bye.